Morning, everyone. Good morning. Good Wednesday morning. It is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. So, this is your weekly reminder of what day it is. Wednesday, July 22nd. Thank you for joining me. Maybe you're joining me live, which is great, and maybe you're watching this a little bit later in the day or some other time. That's cool too. I appreciate the fact that you're taking time out of your day, out of your busy week. I'm sure it's a busy week, to tune in and listen to me for a couple minutes. And that's all it's going to be, is just a few minutes, nothing too terribly long. Got a little devotional to share with you, but also had just a quick announcement about worship. Um, Worship on Sunday will be the last day in our series on David. We're finishing up our series on David, looking at him as king, and seeing where he got it right and where he got it wrong. So tune in on Sunday, in person, 8:15 and 10:45, or here on Facebook at 10:45. We'll be streaming that service. And if you do come, please be prepared to follow our safety guidelines regarding COVID, and really appreciate the way everyone's been following them and living up to them, trying to make sure we're keeping each other safe. Since this Sunday is the last in this series on David, I'm going to give you a little plug for the next series. It means that next week we'll be starting something different. So in August, we've got a 4-week series. Uh, Pretty sure it's 4-week series. It's a summer series. It was a little fun. Going to have some fun. It's called Flip Flops. Called Flip Flops. I love summer. I love wearing flip flops or sandals. So we got a little series, kind of playing with that, and I'm going to see where we can go with some summer metaphors for this Christian life that we have. Um, Now, since flip flops, I think of footwear, and so what the mission team is doing, we'd like to tie that in with a mission project, a collection, to help out the Waynesboro Community Human Services (WCHS) and their annual back to school clothing and shoe giveaway. Now they don't want flip flops; they would like some shoes, mostly sneakers. I'm sure that's what the kids are going to want to wear, that they can give out to some kids in need. And so we're going to tie that into our flip flop series and ask you to contribute some shoes, some sneakers, grade school age. Don't ask me what size it is. Gonna have to take some guesses on that myself. For boys, for girls, grade school ages. Uh, get a variety of different sizes, and we'll be giving them to the WCHS. So for the next few weeks, if you're going to be joining us in person, you want to bring them along on Sunday morning, that's awesome. We'll have a collection site, someplace where we can stack them up and maybe take some pictures and stuff after we get a few there. Excuse me. If you won't be joining us for in-person worship, don't feel safe doing that, or you're going to be out of town, hey, we understand if you don't feel safe. We want everyone to feel safe. So far, we're doing good. Don't have a whole lot of folks, so we're all doing all right at that. But if that's the case, if you want to drop off a pair of shoes at the church, just do it during church hour, preferably during office hours. Just ring the bell, let Bev know you're there and why, and you can set them on the stoop and walk away. And if you don't feel like going shopping for sneakers, yes, we'll take them. We'll take the money and we'll get it to WCHS. Just mark on the bottom of your check, or put, if you're putting cash in an envelope, mark on the envelope what it's for. That it's for the shoe collection. Um, Actually, rather than giving them the money, we might end up taking the money and buying the shoes ourselves, because that might make things simpler for them. But whatever, we'll get it to them so that they can help some kids. I think that there's going to be a pretty great need to help WCHS this fall in particular. Project Big Love was one of the other ones in our area that did an annual big giveaway of shoes and food and free haircuts and stuff like that. At first, they were still planning on going ahead with it, but doing some sort of drive-through thing, which would limit what they were able to do. And now they've chosen to they've had to cancel, so they're not going to be doing that. So folks that were depending on some food and shoes from Project Big Glove are probably going to be needing some help from Waynesboro Community Youth Services. So we're going to be helping them out as much as we can. Anyway, wow, that's a long announcement. I thought it was going to be a quick one. So I want to remind you of the story of Gideon, the story of Gideon, of Jephthah, from the Old Testament, from the book of Judges. God wanted Gideon to do something. He wanted him to, basically, he wanted him to save Israel from their enemies at the time. But Gideon wasn't too sure about the whole thing, and he kind of put God to the test. He said, "Give me a sign. Give me a sign." He wanted a sign to show that God was going to be with him, and he spread a fleece, of a sheep down on the ground, and I forget which order it was that he did it in. He said, "Look, I'm going to put this down on the ground." He said, "Tomorrow morning, let it be wet all around it, but let the fleece be dry." And that's what happened. Next morning, he got up. It's wet all over the place, but the fleece was completely dry. And then he says to God, he said, let me test you. Just give me one more test with the fleece. This time, make it dry all around, but make the fleece be wet. And that's exactly what happened. And since he saw this sign, since God passed the test, we might say, Gideon was willing to trust that God was going to be with him. And see, that's one kind of trust. That's one kind of faith in God. Is one where we see something. We have that sign that God gives it to us, and then we trust. And that's okay. That's okay. If that's the kind of trust and faith you have, don't beat yourself up over it. That's one kind of faith. It's not exactly deep. It's not a deep trust. It's not a deep faith. Because Paul writes that we have faith in what we have not seen. We have faith and trust in what we have not seen. So here I've got a little poem that I found. It actually comes from this book, Streams of the Desert. But I think it goes along with this idea of when and how to trust God. The author, who is anonymous, writes, "When is the time to trust? Is it when all is calm? When waves the victor's palm? And life is one glad psalm of joy and praise? No, for the time to trust is when the waves beat high, when storm clouds fill the sky, and prayer is one long cry, oh, help and save. When is the time to trust? Is it when friends are true? Is it when comforts woo, and in all we say and do, we meet but praise? No, for the time to trust is when we stand alone, and summer birds have flown, and every prop is gone, all else but God. When is the time to trust? Is it some future day when you have tried your way and learned to trust and pray by bitter woe? No, for the time to trust is in this moment's need. Poor, broken, bruised reed. Poor, troubled soul, make speed to trust your God. When is the time to trust? Is it when hopes beat high? When sunshine gilds the sky? And joy and ecstasy fill all the heart? No, the time to trust is when our joy has fled, when sorrow bows the head, and all is cold and dead, all else but God. Friends, when you're going through tough times, it is probably when it's the hardest to trust that God is with us. And yet it is the time that you need the trust and the faith the most and the deepest. I pray that you have trust in God, not only today, but throughout this week and throughout your life, throughout the highs and throughout the lows. Have a blessed day. Amen. Hit the wrong button. Bye.